The professional wrestling industry is arguably the hottest it has ever been within the last 20 years, with an Impact's courtesy of All Elite Wrestling changing everything. Thus, more news and rumors are making their rounds regarding All Elite Wrestling and WWE, as WWE are being forced to make changes to their product, and the new kid on the block AEW are looking for ways to branch out, which leads us into our first report. With All Elite's next show set to take place in just over a week, alongside their TV deal set to kick off this year, the promotion is still adding some final touches to their set of employees. While they are satisfied with their almost complete roster, the team are reportedly still looking to sign a few more stars of the professional wrestling scene. In fact, at current, 2 stars of the Squared Circle are being rumored to have plans in place to join the already 40+ members of the AEW roster. Mutters of a possible signing for second-generation superstar Davey Boy Smith Jr. have begun to make its rounds after the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that the wasted WWE star is currently on AEW's radar. If you're not fully aware of Smith's career, son of the original Davey Boy Smith, his career launched over in WWE's developmental system, FCW. From there, the second-generation superstar would struggle to live up to the heights of which his father would reach. Junior's only WWE accolades would only see him become a tag team champion as part of the Hart Dynasty, before being dropped from the company in 2011 after being underutilized by the company. Since then, Davey Boy Smith Jr. has been chasing success on the independent scene, where he remains a former IWGP champion and a Major League Wrestling signee. However, when the Wrestling Observer newsletter made their initial report, Dave Meltzer mentioned that Smith is also in talks with both All Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah, despite being under contract with MLW. Additionally, recent groundbreaking signing of the announced team Jim Ross is said to be high on him. In contrast, former WWE superstar Aaron Stevens, of whom you will probably know as Damien Sandow, dropped an interesting hint as for an All Elite appearance, as soon as Fight for the Fallen. Stevens would go on to post a video on social media with the caption, "Take this however you want, 7/13/19. The date of which is included is also the date of the vastly approaching AEW charity event, Fight for the Fallen. It's a fascinating and seemingly obvious indication of an appearance, but the Barnburner Radio thinks otherwise, as they went on to report, is Aaron Stevens Damien Sandow going to AEW, since he said 7/13, which of course is Fight for the Fallen? Right now, Aaron Stevens, formerly known as Damien Sandow, will not be at AEW on July 13th, but he may be back somewhere. Do you think Aaron Stevens could crop up at Fight for the Fallen? Additionally, Roman Reigns spoke on his thoughts regarding All Elite Wrestling. The big dog of the WWE recently watched his former Shield brother and one of his best friends exit the WWE and enter into a new stage of his career in All Elite Wrestling. It was more than likely an eye-opening moment for Roman, but he went on to defend the company that has given him huge amounts of success in recent years. As he mentioned in a recent interview, "I'll just say this, it's all so new, and it was what it was with Ambrose leaving and popping up over there. Competition? No, there's no competition. We know exactly what we're doing. We have the best talent in the world. There's no comparing. I say that with firm confidence, all the way from the top to the very bottom. I'm never against optimism, but I think you have foolish thoughts if you really think there is a comparison or an actual competition. It's just an opinion, which isn't a bad thing." It's a bizarre situation that Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins both find themselves in, of which they both have to defend the business that they love and know, while also being supportive of their Shield brethren Dean Ambrose and the new ventures in his career. Speaking of Dean, the WWE is reported to have formed plans for a return to their ring. After having an impactful debut to say the least, and already having a dream match in his latest effort against Joey Janela, Dean Ambrose, or rather Jon Moxley, has already begun to settle comfortably in his new role as a top star of AEW. However, if at any time he isn't comfortable, Raja.com reports that while Jon Moxley's new contract with AEW is a 3-year deal, he has the option to leave within his first year if he wishes to opt out of his current contract. They also went on to report that the WWE essentially had plans in place for a return in 2020. The story goes that Jon Moxley had told Triple H and Vince McMahon that his intentions of leaving were to take a year off to heal his mind and his body, with the expectation of a new contract with the WWE in 2020. The reports also went as far as to claim, in fact, the WWE was so sure that Moxley would be back in WWE by 2020 that they had already planned for some tentative creative for his comeback at the Royal Rumble next year. As it turns out, Moxley has signed with AEW and showed up at Double or Nothing with the WWE truly having no idea what was about to happen until he literally appeared on camera. It's interesting to think of the misbelief and confusion that the backstage officials over in WWE would have felt after seeing Ambrose make his shock debut. The distinct one-year opt-out clause in his latest contract also indicates that AEW are certain that Moxley will enjoy his stay in the company, and he seems to be doing so far, as during an interview with ESPN, he went on to speak about the freedom that he now feels. In the WWE, it's almost like Vince is in the ring with you. The producer is in the ring with you. It's like you have two little bubbles on your shoulder, like three heads in the ring. All of a sudden, when I got in the ring in Japan, 5 minutes into the match I was like, there's no chatter. There was no producer ref Vince chatter. It was like silence, and I didn't expect that. I was like, whoa, I'm alone again. It's just me in the ring. And then I started beating the crap out of Juice Robinson, and then I realized, oh yeah, this is what I used to do. However, despite the groundbreaking signing of Jon Moxley, it seems as though All Elite want more, as reports suggested that a WWE star has declined an offer from All Elite Wrestling. While All Elite Wrestling has snatched up a handful of wrestlers from WWE, most evident with Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer recently gave a peculiar report. The Wrestling Observer newsletter's daily update reported, Booker T, after agreeing to come, has pulled out of All Out. He evidently said when pulling out that he found that the AEW versus WWE war was very real, and he didn't want to be in the middle of it. I've been told to expect another major counter by WWE very shortly. The WCW legend, WWE legend, and WWE Hall of Famer has seemingly self-removed himself from making an appearance at the event, in respect to his current employers WWE. However, this did not stop him from jumping ship to TNA in 2007. Nonetheless, while the report initially indicated an appearance at the actual show, in similar circumstances to Bret Hart's appearance at Double or Nothing, it seems this wasn't the case. Booker T was actually scheduled to make an appearance at Conrad Thompson's StarCast event, in which he claims to have limited involvement with All Elite Wrestling, as Conrad recently stated, I don't have an official role, and my role is the exact same as it was back in January or February, a friend. Regarding the cancellation, Booker went on to mention, I will be setting the record straight within the next 24 hours regarding the story about me pulling out of StarCast. Conrad added, Meltzer's report is inaccurate. I don't work for AEW, and I have no power to book anyone. And we enjoyed Booker's appearance in Las Vegas. I will miss him this time in Chicago, but look forward to working with him again sometime in the future. Meltzer went on to claim, obviously this was about Booker's planned and advertised StarCast appearance that he is no longer doing. And if it's StarCast and an appearance changed, who would be the first person that I'd ask to find out? These words of Meltzer are definitely different from the initial report, as he specifically mentioned an appearance at All Out. Therefore, this leaves us with two theories. Our first is that Booker actually had original plans to make a legitimate appearance at All Out without WWE knowing so, but then realizing the impact it would cause on the relationship between himself and his employer, he had a change of thoughts, and thus leaving him to make it seem as if he had never prearranged an appearance at All Out, only releasing a statement regarding StarCast. On the other hand, there is the much more likely scenario of Dave Meltzer making a false report, being confused with the plans, with Booker T having plans to only make an appearance at the StarCast event. However, with the event having nothing to do with AEW, this ponders the question as to why Booker T would pull out, as this has nothing to do with the so-called very real war between WWE and AEW. We'll have to keep an eye out for what Booker has to say regarding the situation, and also keep an open mind. AJ Lee's possible return? In addition to the incredible swarm of recent changes in wrestling, it seems as though we could be seeing the former WWE Divas Champion head back into the squared circle, as AJ Lee was recently seen opening up about the possibility of a return during an interview about her latest book. When asked the question on all fans' mind, she responded, "Oh my god, I'd never say never, because every time I've said never in my life, I end up doing the thing. I'm never going to date a wrestler, I'm never gonna date another wrestler. Then it keeps going. Then I married one. I say that I don't know what the future holds. Not to hold your breath, but never say never." While CM Punk has disregarded any rumors of making an appearance at All Elite Wrestling's All Out, of which is scheduled to take place in his hometown of Chicago, the question on if AJ could make a shock debut on the AEW scene is on the minds of many. It would make a massive impact on the women's division of All Elite Wrestling. And finally, an AEW video game? As seen at the recently collaborative event between CEO Gaming Tournament and All Elite Wrestling, there are multiple different parallels between wrestling fans and gaming fans. This is something that many talent backstage in All Elite Wrestling definitely know, as numerous stars of the ring take to the consoles to bust out some games on their free time. One of the biggest gamers in the wrestling scene is undoubtedly Kenny Omega. He has high hopes for the success of AEW, and according to himself, one of his many ambitions is a wrestling video game. During an appearance at StarCast, he mentioned, "I don't play a lot of wrestling games. I'm going to be honest with you guys. You think I would, but I don't. I don't play the 2K games. I had fun when I played Fire Pro at CEO last year, but my absolute favorite games were No Mercy. I've made it a mission to bring that back, the AKI engine. Those are the games to this day. You could dust off the N64, plug those in, and still have fun with it to this day. And I just think that, man, isn't it time to bring back the AKI engine? If and when, or just when an AEW game is released, I'd love for it to be representative of the quality of our shows. And I don't think anything can do that but AKI. What do you think of All Elite Wrestling having a video game? Let us know down in the comments below. Why not be that guy that helps us out massively by dropping a big thumbs up? And remember, you can even join the already 15,000 members of the club by clicking that subscribe button down below. In the meantime though, here are some other videos that we've done, and we'll see you in the next one.